What's up, ladies? Welcome to another episode of my Friday episode to the core. Welcome to my new studio. I know I have recorded one podcast episode with the guest that just came out on Tuesday, Jessica Bergio. So that was the first time recording in here. I am now recording from my home. Our lifestyle kind of flip-flopped back to, I shouldn't say normal, because some people, the dad stays home and that's normal. But for us, normal was Rick working and me being home with the kids. And then when I started Revitalized Womanhood, he said, "Hey, babe, I got this. I'm going to stay home with the kids." And then we left to travel, and coming back home, he decided, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. That's not for me. I want to go start some more companies and businesses. He is a serial entrepreneur, so it's just in his blood. He cannot sit still. He figured that out, that he couldn't be a stay-at-home dad. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about when I'm like, I would come home and nothing would have gotten done, right? I would come home from being at the office, Revitalized Womanhood, recording, whatever I was doing, and he'd be hanging out with the baby, toys everywhere, no dinner made. Yeah, right. He's not doing the laundry, right? And he's telling me, this is so mind-numbing to stay home. This is so boring. And I'm like, babe, you're not really doing it the right way. Of course it is boring. You have to fill your day. Why do you think moms, okay, this is a good for everyone out there listening. Why do you think we fill our day with things? We fill our day with laundry. We fill our day with or going through and making sure the kids' clothes all fit. They're in the right seasons, right? There is so much more that goes on. Like a man that goes to work couldn't understand and appreciate the CEO vibe that gets put into place when a woman is at home, right? Or I should say any man that's at home. Same thing. You become the CEO of this home, so you have to have it running the way that you would if it was a business. And so yeah, I'm like, Rick, yeah, you're not really doing it the right way. So yeah, I can understand it is a little mind numbing if I wasn't doing all the things I was doing. So any men out there listening, the next time you want to give your wife a hard time for reorganizing something or doing a DIY or something like, just stop. Don't give her a hard time. Let her do it. She's got a plan. She's figuring it out. She's the captain of this ship. Just trust her, right? And let it play out. So it's January, right? So everybody is going gaga over goals. That's all you can hear on podcasts, on the radio, everything. Everything's goals, 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 which is fine. Of course, in the Revitalized Sisterhood, our foundation is goal setting. So we're talking about it as well. But I wanted to talk, and I'm going to talk about it more, but I wanted to talk about today, maybe before even the goals are being set. What happens before? Where do you need to be in your headspace to even set goals? So I want you to think about things in terms of laying the foundation, getting ready to set goals, not setting the goals. I want you to have a solid, firm foundation before you even start to look at, oh, okay, now where can I improve? What goals can I set? How do I want to improve on things? So I'm sorry, I'm battling a cold here. So if I sniffle, I realize it's horrible. And now, of course, I'm recording. Like for so long while we were traveling, I didn't record any of my TTCs, so I could sit here and blow my nose and nobody would know and be the wiser. But now I'm on camera, so excuse me, bear with me. I'm so sorry. I want to talk about and why I named this episode The Whole Before the Goal. So let me explain that. In my mind, I'm thinking about the whole big picture, right? Before you sit down to set goals for yourself, I want you to look at the big picture of your life. And of course, that's huge. That is a big bite to take. We don't want to think about it as in terms of like 20 years from now, but in terms of at the end of 2024, what do you want to be celebrating, right? So in the same regard of that, at the end of 2023, a couple days ago, what were you thinking back on? I mean, even think back on now, because maybe you haven't even thought about it. Think back on the year, on 2023, and think about the things that worked for you, didn't work for you, felt good, you want to do more of, felt yucky, you want to eliminate from your life, from your day. I want you to think about those things. So sitting down and getting ready to lay a foundation before even getting into goals. So, like I said, go back to thinking about last year, all of last year. Go through your list, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, what felt good, what didn't feel good, right? So now you have a little bit of that. Next, I want you to think about what you want to be celebrating at the end of this year. So what wins will you be celebrating? And that will give you kind of a generalization of like a vibe or a feeling of what you want to have accomplished by the end of the year, right? Before you've even put pen to paper, before you've even sat down to write these goals out, at the end of the year, you want to feel good about yourself for this, or you want to be proud of yourself for that, or you want to have earned X amount of money or grown this much in your business, right? At the end of the year, you see yourself celebrating these things. Now, before we get into, I don't know what to call them, the steps of setting goals, right? Which we'll get into those. I have all sorts of things for that, like rules for setting goals and all those things. But I want to talk a little bit today about continuing thinking of the whole before the goal. So we are so flooded now with so much information, right? There's so much information at our fingertips. There's so much information. You could be an expert in this. You could be an expert in that. You could have a coach in this. You could have a coach in that. You can YouTube anything you need to find a tutorial on. We've got artificial intelligence, like doing everything for us now. I mean, right? So there is so much chaos going on in our world right now. I want you to quiet the noise, right? Cut out the chaos. So in a way, one of my goals this year is to eliminate the clutter, eliminate the chaos in my life. And for me, chaos in my life is clutter, the stuff, all the things, especially when we go travel for 6+ months at a time, years at a time, with only a backpack with us of clothes. And we don't even wear everything we take, honestly. We most of the time circulate the same couple outfits in and out and in and out and in and out, wash, dry, wear, right? And after doing that for so long, you think to yourself, wow, I have too much crap. There's too much crap. I don't need any of this stuff at my house. We get home and it's like, I've just been away from this for a year. I've just been away from this for 6 months. I didn't need any of it. It didn't matter that I had 30 pairs of shoes. I wore the same pair of shoes this entire year, right? It didn't matter. So for me, eliminating chaos in my life means simplifying, decluttering. So in that perspective, on that same thought path, I want you to eliminate noise in your life by shutting out all of the people telling you what to do. Does that make sense? So if you are wanting to focus on so for us in the Revitalized Sisterhood, we focus on beliefs, bonds, body, and biz. So we have 4 core categories that help us to break down where in our life, right? Remember, if you're at the circus and that guy that spins the plates, right? Spins the plates on his hands, he spins the plate on his nose, he spins the plate on his feet and his knees, he's spinning the plates. Well, they don't all spin at the same rate, right? So one of them has to have more attention at any certain time. Now this one needs attention. Now this one needs attention. So how is that in your life? In your life, certain things need attention more than others. we have a really good tool that we use in the sisterhood, our life wheel. So look into finding a life wheel. That was huge for me because I can set goals of what I want to accomplish or what I want to have happen, but it may not always be the things that need to happen first. So like I'm saying, declutter. So if you have these areas, belief spawns body biz, right? If you have these areas that you're looking into, so beliefs, think about mindset coaches, think about podcasts you're listening to, think about meditations, think about breath work, right? So there's all of these things just in that one category. Your religion, your pastors, you're listening to scripture studies, podcasts, sermons, whatever, right? Eliminate the noise. I want you to narrow it down to 2 to 5 experts that you truly trust. And I would say maybe 2 in each area. So if you have beliefs, bonds, body, and biz, 2 in each area. So that would give you 8 people that you really follow. But if you need a couple more, then I understand that. Some of us have different levels of, you might need more dietary experts. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. I have got to blow my nose and I'm not going to do that on a podcast. You guys, I'm so disgusting. I shouldn't even have started recording, but I have to. Okay. We'll try to get through this quick without having any disasters, any boogers, any snot, right? We're doing good. We're doing good. So I want you to eliminate all of the other people. So you probably, in the world of social media, are following and podcasts. I mean, honestly, you're probably following so many different people who are experts in their areas, right? For different reasons. So you're following these people for different reasons. So I want you to really narrow it down. I want you to really just like shut out all of the chaos that's going on everywhere around you and really narrow it down to those couple people. You know what I mean? When you're scrolling and it's normal, it's most likely the people that show up in your feed frequently because those are the ones you're interacting with and engaging with. But really think about that. Think about how much noise is coming in, how much influence is hitting you without you even knowing it most of the time. Your subconscious is picking these things up, but it's so much. It's like information overload. So instead of really focusing in and dialing in on a goal or something you want to accomplish, you maybe feel like, oh, you're doing a really good job, but then someone else says something and you're like, oh, maybe I should do it that way. No, stick to what you're doing. Keep going. Don't just like jump off the path because all of a sudden someone has a different opinion. Keep going. Be consistent. See where that gets you before adjusting, right? Give it at least 30 days before adjusting and pivoting. Oh my goodness, medicine's wearing off. Okay. So cut out the noise, right? The next thing I want you to do with your vision of what you want to be celebrating at the end of the year, what does that have to do with your values, right? So how much of that is, so for me, a lot more of it is going to be focused on my family. Oh, now I sound awful. The drugs are wearing off. So a lot more of it's going to be focused around my family, right? This year, I'm going to be focusing a lot more around the family. So for me, that's going to look a lot more like not overscheduling myself with business or with anything, self-care, girls trips, whatever, right? I'm not going to overschedule myself. Even today, I was feeling awful and I was supposed to record a podcast episode with a guest and I had to cancel with her because I can't even imagine trying to be this disgusting with like a guest on here. And then I canceled my leader call because I didn't have the energy to be on, right? It's all the energy I have, but the most important thing to me was this episode, and I had the energy to do that. So I had to decide, I had to set boundaries. I have this amount of energy. what can I do? Where am I going to get the most bang for my buck? That's what I did. So I want you to look at it in terms of values and prioritize, set goals and aspirations that fit your values and lifestyle. So last year, this would have been in, and it's kind of this year too, but last year specifically, my word of the year was ease. And I decided that I didn't want to force things. And actually, it's funny because my word of the year came to me 6 months into the year. Like I didn't come up with a word of the year. I actually think that was at the first of the year last year. I thought, oh, okay, you guys all have your word of the year, cool, whatever. And I didn't do it. But then after getting 5 to 6 months into the year, and meeting with a business coach and talking about where I was going to have to ebb and flow and not bend instead of break because we were traveling, right? So I had to think about not being consistent with putting the podcast episodes out because I knew I was going to be traveling with my family. I knew the situation with Wi-Fi in the places where we were going to go was not going to be ideal. And so I had to come to terms with the fact that putting out podcasts consistently, which is very important to me, was not going to be a possibility. And focusing a lot of attention on my business, on the Revitalized Sisterhood, wasn't going to happen because this was a season in my life where I needed to be spending all this time with my family, making memories with my family. So my word of the year kind of came to me late, but it was ease. So with that being said, when I'm telling you to set goals and aspirations, when you're looking at what you want to celebrate at the end of 2024, think first of what that looks like in terms of your lifestyle, in terms of your values, and then work backwards from that, right? And then think of the pros, cons, priority list of what needs attention first, because you might be surprised once you sit down and start writing the things down that you'd like to accomplish. You can get your list, writing them down, and then think, oh, okay, then you can start prioritizing, right? Once you get them. I am the kind of person that I don't like using apps that much, like obviously for specific reasons, but I love a planner. I love a paper planner. I love having things written down in front of me, like my calendar, my schedule. I like having it right in front of me, written down in front of me, because I like to look at it. So same thing with these things that you want to accomplish and achieve throughout the year. Write them down, and then you can start categorizing them, prioritizing them, So, values. Next, filter out your algorithm, your own personal algorithm. So just like Instagram does, just like social media filters it out for you and creates your own personal algorithm, do it for yourself. So now that you've figured out what your values are going to look like, what at the end of the year you want to be celebrating, and what that looks like in terms of what your values are this year that you want to be prioritizing and focusing on, I want you to really, really, really reflect and be intentional. I've said this before, on what information, what influence you're letting into your life. So things you're watching on TV, movies you're watching, social media, pages you follow. I've talked about this so many times with the Revitalized Womanhood Instagram. I specifically went out of my way to not follow pages that were not in alignment with my values. So I have a big problem. I'm starting to be almost offended by the motherhood satire, the satirical comedy reels of how motherhood is so hard, and all of that comedy. And it's like, I get it. I get why it's funny. It's fine. But at the root of every joke is a truth. And so when you're making fun of motherhood, saying it's devastating, it's so hard, that basically these women are getting no help from their husbands are lazy, their husbands like anything like that, the influences, I don't need that. I don't want that. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to sit and have these kind of influences in my subconscious, because whether you know it or not, you see it. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You know that. You've heard that saying. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So even if you don't think to yourself, oh, that was funny, even if you're scrolling past it, your mind catches it, and then it sits in your subconscious like a little weapon, right? It's like you're weaponizing your thoughts. So now the next time your husband does do something that you might consider lazy, excuse me, you've got this little trigger back here, this little bomb in the back of your head that's ready to go off and explode, because you've now seen this satirical sketch about this woman making fun of the fact that her husband thinks that the magical coffee table, what's that set of reels where it's like, hey honey, look, I have a magic coffee table, and she's like, what? And he's like, every time I set something on this coffee table and then I go to bed, it's gone the next day, it's magically done. Or the magical laundry, every time I have dirty laundry, it magically cleans itself, right? Like, okay, I get it, but I don't need that. Like, I would rather have, it's like saying surround yourself with the people that you aspire to be, or that you want to emulate, right? Surround yourself with people like that inspire you. So why would you be following accounts on Instagram that even make you feel bad about yourself? Honestly, I had a friend when we were first starting to travel, and she's adorable. I have no problem with her whatsoever. I think they're great. But for some reason, I would see her post and it would irritate me. And it started making me feel yucky. Like, why was I having these negative thoughts about this person when I know she's a lovely person? She's very nice. And it was my own insecurities. It was holding a mirror up to myself. And it was like, I just need to not follow her. I obviously need to have a little work on myself. But at that time, until I can do the work and figure out what it is about myself that's triggering me, just unfollow it. If there's something that pops up in your feed that makes you feel icky or makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you feel just that feeling of like comparison, like that you're feeling less because of what someone else is showing, unfollow it immediately. It's your choice. You don't have to be this person that just follows everybody and is nice to everybody. And because guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's too busy worrying about themselves. So filter out your own algorithm, both mentally and literally. You don't need influence in your life that is not going to be part of your vision. It's not going to be something that you want to be celebrating at the end of 2024. Oh my goodness, you guys, can we even make it through this episode without me? The medicine is obviously wearing off, but I think I made my point. I gotta wrap this up. I think I made my point though. The point being, think about when you're about to be sitting down to do goals, or thinking about what you want to implement in your life, or like tighten up on habits that you've kind of let slide, which we all do over the holiday season for sure. For me, for sure, we've been traveling. It's been a mess. My habits are all over the place. The bad habits have creeped on in. So think of the whole before the goal. So think about what you want to be celebrating as a whole, what your life you want to be celebrating at the end of 2024 before you even start thinking about the goal. All right, I'm wrapping it up. I can't even breathe. I can't even breathe now, you guys. But thank you for hanging out with me for a minute. I hope you made it through without being totally offended by me having a cold. All right, that's it. I'm wrapping it up. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you next week.